Right, everybody, I thought I would do a quick video. I've had a look on YouTube, and frankly I don't think most of them are very satisfactory. That'll upset the people who put them up there, won't it? But there you go. I thought I'd do a quick video on how to change a fuse in a 3-pin UK square 3-pin plug. And have a look at the different types of fuses, just a quick overview, because it's something that some people just don't know about, aren't too sure on, and of course it's always useful to know. It's a bit embarrassing getting an electrician in, isn't it, just for changing a fuse. So first of all, there are 3 types of fuses, okay, for our standard 3-pin plugs, and these are they. That's put it up the right way, show it up to the camera, that's a 13 amp fuse, that one, and that's brown. Okay, this is a 3 amp fuse, find where it says 3 amps on there. That is a 3 amp fuse, up to the camera, 3 amps, can you read that? It is, anyway, and it's red, and they are always red. And there's a 5 amp fuse, which I've got in one of the plugs that I'm going to show you in a moment, and they're always black. Okay, so red for 3 amp, black for 5 amp, and brown for 13 amp. And the general rule, okay, don't quote me on this, I'll make a disclaimer, anyone who electrocutes themselves can't come to me. No, you won't do that, I mustn't be facetious about it. The general rule is anything that lights something up is 3 amp, anything that does something is 5 amp, and anything that heats something up is 13 amp. What do I mean by that? Anything that lights anything up, so a table lamp, a standard lamp like the one behind me here, that sort of thing, your bedside lamp, your angle poise lamp on your desk, they're all 3 amp fuses go in there because they don't draw a great deal of current, they don't draw many amps. Then things that do stuff have 5 amp fuses normally, so all of your electronic equipment, your video player that plays videos, your computer that computes, whatever you want to call it, your DVD player that plays DVDs, your telly that shows you the telly, so on and so forth, things that do stuff. So your Kenwood mixer in the kitchen that mixes stuff, that's a 5 amp fuse. Your electric drill, your electric jigsaw if you've got one out in the shed, all those kind of things, they all are 5 amp fuses for things that do stuff. And finally, for things that heat things up is a 13 amp fuse. So if you've got a bar fire that heats your living room, that's a 13 amp fuse. If you've got a kettle that heats your water up to make your cup of tea, that's a 13 amp fuse. If you've got a toaster that heats your bread up to make your toast, that's a 13 amp fuse. And if you've got a microwave that heats your food up, that's a 13 amp fuse. Okay, so that's the general rule. Now then, as far as changing these fuses, there are 3 types of plugs. This is the first type, which is probably the most modern, and let's show you. If you look on the back of the plug, this is a fitted plug, so you can't take it off. You can't change this plug. The only way to change it is to cut it and put a new one on, if you ever wanted to, because it's actually all moulded in one piece. However, they do leave a little place for you to get the fuse out, and that is that thing there. And if you just get your screwdriver behind that and push it forward and then pull it with your fingernail, you will see that a little trap door opens there. See that sideways on, and there is your fuse. Hey presto, you can get it out. And this one you will see, because it's from my computer, I've unplugged the computer and it's running on the battery to show you how to do this. You will see that one, black, see it's black, and that, if you see up to the camera, that's a 5 amp fuse. Okay, and so if the fuse is gone, you just take the old one out, put a matching fuse, as long as it's got the right one in. Some people, you know, if you've got an appliance from somebody else and you find the wrong fuse in it, strength wise, you know, then change it to the right one and just stick that back in there, close the trapdoor, and there you would have your new fuse. I'm just going to go and plug this back in now, so as we got some juice for the computer. There we are, let's have that plugged back in. Okay, that's that done. Now then, the other type that you will find, all the standard lamp off of the right, the other type you will find is for a moulded plug that you can't take off. It'll have a little trapdoor like that. I need to pick up my screwdriver, which landed on the floor, and that in a similar way, pop that open with a screwdriver, and that whole thing comes out in this case. And there's your 3 amp fuse. Put the plug down, and as you can see, because it's a light that's come from a table lamp, it's got a 3 amp fuse in it. Okay, and that 3 amp fuse sits in that little black device like that, and that pops then back in the plug. Okay, just like that, and you push that in, and that's it in position. Okay, so that's the other type of fuse holder, so you don't have to take the plug apart. The final problem you'll come up against is a plug that has no way of getting at it from here, getting to the fuse from here. You actually have to take it to bits, and you will find that some plugs have these screws, the 2 screws that are always above the wire, they are just the wire clamps. They're holding that wire in place so it doesn't get tugged out of the plug. So you don't need to undo those, leave those alone. Look for any other screw that's on the back. Most plugs have one in the centre, a big one. This one's got one in that corner and one up in that corner. They need to be undone to allow you access to the plug. So if you undo those, which I will just do here, undo that one, undo that one. Okay, and that gives you access to the inside of the plug. We hope, with any luck and good judgment. There we are, and you will see, we'll talk about wiring a plug in the next video. And there now is the fuse. And you will see that that's a 5 amp fuse, I think you'll find, in there. Because it's black, it should be a 5 amp fuse. And all you have to do is pop it out. It will come out with a... It will come out, we hope. There we go, that comes out, and it's pulled the wire out with it actually, but that doesn't matter. Okay, so that's now out. That sits in there, that connector for the fuse. Okay, and so that's how the plug looks without the fuse in there. And then we just pop the fuse back into those sprung bits of copper. This one's quite tough, but there it is. And that would be your replacement fuse in there. And then you would just simply put the back on the plug and screw the screws back up. So there we are. They're the 3 different types of plug you're likely to encounter for changing a fuse, and the 3 different types of fuse you're going to need. Just remember, 3 amp for anything that lights stuff up, 5 amp for anything that does anything, like televisions, Magimixes, DVD players, computers, and 13 amp for anything that heats things up. So that's heats rooms up, heaters, kettles up, kettles, water up, toasters, heats your bread up, and so on. And you shouldn't go far wrong. Till next time, ta-ra!